Hi everyone, it's Alleyna Evangelista, and you're tuning in to Under the Pillow podcast. For today's episode, we will be talking about the importance of sleep and how it is essential to students' learning. Well, of course, having good quality sleep is important to all since sleeping is the strongest ally in our health. We will be focusing on how healthy sleep is crucial to a student's academic performance. Now, sit back and relax, or grab your favorite snack as we enjoy our very first episode of Under the Pillow podcast. Enjoy! So to start off, there are around 50 to 70 million US adults who have sleeping disorders, as it was recorded by the American Sleep Association. It is crazy to find out that the huge chunk of the population is only from the US. The World Sleep Society said that around 51% of the world's populations experience sleeping disorders. With the increased rate of people having these disorders, I can say that aiding these types of sicknesses or illnesses or disorders back to having good night's rest is a must, since having good quality sleep has a lot of benefits, most especially to my fellow students. Before we proceed to our main talk for today, though, we will have a guest. With me today is my co-researcher from St. Paul University Manila and an advocate of quality sleep for high school students, Grant Hilario. And to inform you, we've conducted a study last semester on the effects of online classes to our fellow senior high school students at St. Paul University Manila. Right, Grant?
Yes, thank you very much, Alleyna, and thank you also for having me today. Yes, again, we conducted a study and gave questionnaires to our fellow students. And I must say, there are a lot of teenagers today that are not getting good night's rest because of this students' workload. Other personal factors also are their school works and of course social media, which is part of every teenager's life for today. For me, not gonna lie, sometimes me, I also experience having lack of sleep because of some reasons. Of course, we are teenagers, right, Alleyna?
That's right, Grant. But even though some people say that students' workloads nowadays are much easier compared to what we had during face-to-face classes, let us not invalidate everybody's hard work and efforts. This time has been especially challenging for us because of the new normal and everybody trying to adjust. I can admit even I had a hard time adjusting to our schedule.
Yes, I totally agree, Alleyna. Sobra talaga. Mahirap ngayong pandemic, lalo na online class. But before we hop into our discussion, I just want to share to our dear audience our study that we have conducted last year. Of course, it is relevant to share this information regarding the importance of sleep. In our previous study, it showed that 92% of our respondents said that the cause of their sleep deprivation is heavy workload. Some schools require students to do more homework because of missed school days due to the pandemic. About 67% who participated in our research study said that the use of social media is what is causing their good night's sleep, but only because they do this in their free time after doing all work and chores.
Yeah, a lot of students have different reasons why they sleep late. Sometimes I wonder too if some students prefer doing their work at night, right? There's a challenge for students who are taking online classes because we have different sleeping schedules and body clocks. You can also add to this the distractions from home and, personal reasons from students. But going back to our main topic today, why is sleep important for you, Grant?
Of course, sleep is very important to all of us. Sleep is part of human survival for everyday life. Also, the National Sleep Foundation said that sleep plays a critical role in helping our bodies and minds recover and rejuvenate. That is why we wake up feeling refreshed from a good quality sleep. They also mentioned that sleep also improves our ability to learn new information and form new memories. It is really helpful, especially for us students who are adding information to our brains every day.
Oh, okay. Wow. Sleep really is important, huh? But I want to ask, how is sleep important and how does it translate, or how is sleep important? We always say why is sleep important, but we never realize how sleep is important. I wanted to ask that.
Okay, thank you for that wonderful question. Sleep is important to body restitution as it conserves our energy and allows us to activate our nervous system more effectively. The connections as adding brain. While we sleep, the brain appears to streamline its operations to work more efficiently. This restores flexibility or plasticity to the brain's local connections and wider networks to improve overall performance. At the same time, during sleep, the brain must also stabilize key synapses to prevent what was learned the previous day from being eliminated by new learning experiences. Basically, sleep is crucial to one's academic performance as it lets our brain reactivate neural networks, further enhancing the transfer of new memories to long-term storage. Sleeping doesn't only let our brain rest. Take note of this, but it makes our brain strong for learning and storing new information while studying.
That's right, Grant. And in addition, sleep deprivation can cause all kinds of effects on our cognitive thinking, impairing our memory and our decision making. These are some of the examples. Lack of sleep is such a predictor for a number of consequences. It includes issues at school such as sleepiness or tardiness. Students need to be mentally alert to sufficiently learn during school. Diminished reasoning and verbal skills have been associated with sleep deprivation. So when you can't reason properly, or when you have a hard time or keep stuttering when you talk, this is connected to maybe your sleep deprivation. This is common in middle and high school students. Insufficient sleep interferes with the memorization process as well, with specific negative effects observed for working memory and the memories our brain processes into long term, both essential for learning in the classroom. Lastly, staying up all night interferes with the brain's ability to store memories. So, with these all said, a full night's sleep is required immediately after learning for proper memory formation.
Oh, Alleyna, by the way, what is the suggested amount of sleeping hours for students?
Well,
Teenagers?
it is suggested. It is suggested that the amount of hours for teenagers, 13 to 18 years old, would be 8 to 10 hours, as it will maximize their body's functionality much more grand. A certain lack of it may cause symptoms such as fatigue, irritability, and etc. It also affects the body in physical health, uh, such as a person's immune system becoming weaker and more prone to diseases.
Okay. I remember our research study as some students from St. Paul University Manila answered our questionnaires. Results showed that they were experiencing emotional and psychological changes. As I recall, most students, our fellow Polinians, answered stress and lack of concentration during their online classes. I think mood changes was also the most answered.
Huh. Yeah, it was really proven that the lack of sleep causes emotional changes in our health. It is important that we take care of our body, especially now during the time of the pandemic, where we learned that our health is our main priority. Speaking of this, I can see a lot of posts on social media struggling where the original posters are struggling with their mental health. A lot of students were really having a hard time during these online classes. And I can relate to that. I'll make this an opportunity to raise awareness regarding this matter. For our audience, please take time to take care of yourself, especially your mental health. If you need to rest and lay low on your academic responsibilities, please do so. Your feelings and fears are valid. Your health is more important than anything right now. If you need someone to talk to, don't be scared to ask for help. There's always a person who cares for you.
Yes, that's right, Alleyna. We all need to rest. We all need to sleep. And we all need to meditate from time to time. It is always better to study if you are well rested.
Going back, did you also know that lack of sleep can also cause physiological changes in our body? Without enough sleep, your brain and body systems work, they don't function as normally as they should. Some of the physiological changes are high blood pressure, weakened immunity, as said before, weight gain, and poor balance. With these changes, it can affect not just our learning, but our cognitive function all in all.
Yes. Also, these students' bodies would be tired at day making their bodies unable to function when having classes. They could end up falling asleep during video conference or not feeling well enough to absorb new information.
Now that we have talked about how sleep is important to students' learning and its negative effects on our health, I hope this podcast and this information gives an idea to help our fellow students that they need good rest. You need sufficient sleep. Sadly, we have to end our talk as for today, but don't you worry. We have a lot to talk about in our next one. Before we end our first episode for this podcast, do you have anything to add, Grant?
Mm, I think it is for our audience, for our dear listeners. To our audience, if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below in our YouTube video your questions as well as your feedback so that we can hear you and we can get in touch with you in the possible time as we can. Alright, Alleyna?
Well, this sums up for today. Thank you so much. Thank you very much to our listeners for today. I hope we can see you in our next one. Again, I am Alleyna Evangelista.
And I am Grante Hilario.
And this
And
is
this
Under
is
the
the Under the Pillow
Podcast.
podcast. Yeah,
Bye.
podcast.
Yay.
Bye-bye.
Yay. Be safe.
Well, good night, everybody. Good night, good night.